Alright, this is Nafgun. We have a crazy battle going on here, or it's about to start. And we have 3 4,000 point armies. We have represented, we have the Shaltari, we have the UCM, and we have the PHR. Now, what's really interesting about this game, before we look at the armies, is what we're doing on the table. Alright? Now, you'll see that there's a big monorail going through the center, and you'll see that there is a orbital defense laser also in the center. The more astute of you who has also seen, there is these big drop ships, like drop pods. There's 3 of them. There's the other one over on the other side of the table, and you'll see one over here. So what we have going is we are combining way too many missions to the point where we are doing the orbital defense laser as in the mission, where it is a focal point and you can shoot it. We are counting the drop ships as focal points. We have the monorail as its standard board, gain your 2 victory points, and if you extract it you get 4 victory points. We had to add one little minor thing, is that you can't board it round 1, or our Shaltari player would have that off the board possibly very quickly. Another odd thing that we have done is this is the first train station, and this train station is invulnerable unless you're firing that. If you fire that, it can destroy the train station and the final train station at the end. With 4,000 points, we have enough light drop ships. We should be able to get into the monorail if we so choose. The monorail does create a block in this game. We were debating that one a little bit, but we decided to keep it just because of the way that it curves through the battlefield. It'll create some interesting maneuvering around and behind and whatnot. And if that wasn't enough, we added 3 objectives into the center 3 buildings. And you can see them by the red marks here, across, and over there. We went a step further because we were debating about adding objectives or adding intel. So we also added intel. There are 9 intel pieces, and they are in the corners away from, in between each player's deployment, or each where we're going to be coming on the board. So they will be bringing each other out. That'll be bringing us all out together to fight really fast, because those are easy points if you can get in them, assuming that they don't blow up on you when you check the pieces of intel. So let's go ahead and take a look at the army. And, well, because I can, I'm going to choose my army to look at first. This is 4,000 points of UCM. It is a lot of UCM. What we did here, when you're building a 4,000 point list, it's really interesting because you start with a battle, and then you can add either another battle, or you can add a clash or a skirmish. And I ended up doing a 2,500 point battle force and a 1,500 point clash force in this. So there are 2 full rosters here combined into one force. I think I have the most battle groups of anybody. And I thought it was at 13, but right now I can't seem to count them and talk at the same time. But there is a lot there, okay? So this is going to be a little bit crazy. There is almost every model is represented in the UCM, what you can actually get, except for the scimitars, which are not my favorite unit. But there are, basically everything else is here. And it will be crazy to see how all this works. And I'm not going to go through this list. Maybe I'll take a picture of it up and put it on the video. I think everybody printed theirs out. Maybe not.
On my phone.
Okay, well, not everybody printed one out. So anyhow, let's go take a look at the Shaltari, because I don't like the PHR very much. Okay, now I don't know if everything's represented here, but it looks
everything
awful.
Except bird eaters. No bird eaters.
No bird eaters? Which one's the bird eater?
It's the anti-air walker. The little new one.
Okay, so everything else is represented, including the guns that come with a little skimmer underneath of them. We're just going to call those Shaltari guns tonight.
Caimans, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2 dragons. That's something to watch for. And
Just a ton of walkers. We got 3 squads of 2 jaguars and all kinds of little tanks, infantry, a couple totems. So
yeah, this will be ugly. And you do have a flyer. I thought you didn't have any fast movers.
I did. I was a mix up with the list. I do have a couple fast movers. So
everybody is bringing fast movers today. Everybody's bringing lots of anti-air. The only thing that we're short on, really, for the most part, for playing this big of a game, is infantry. And I think all 3 of us are shy a little bit. We tried to get a 4th player to get a Scourge player, but we were short a person, and we will do that another time. So here's the PHR. And every model in the PHR lineup is represented here on this force. And we're not going to go through each list because they are just gigantic. But you can see every model is pretty much WYSIWYG for everything. Oh, he does have it. He has the list. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get a copy of those and I'll put those up on the site and print them up.
yeah, I'll send you mine.
And that way I have a copy of all of them so that we can see everything. Because this is going to be a pretty epic battle. It's going to be six rounds of chaos. And I think what we're going to do is I'm going to take a break on the video, and then we will roll and everything, and then we will be given a round overview when we're done. So that's it.
If I did.
Okay, we're checking in real quick because we had the Shaltari player actually get both of his fast-moving flyers in round 1. You can see I threw a little bit of defense out, and you can see that over here apparently is where the Shaltari are going to come in and go for a target-rich environment and maybe do some damage. So they're coming in right away on his 2nd battle group move.
All right, here it is.
You got to call them in.
Call them in. They're both separate units, so.
One comes in, one does not.
All right.
That's lucky. That's nice.
I'm okay with 1.
All right. So, if I had gotten both of them, I would have gone for that. But since I did not, I'm gonna go for probably this one. I don't want to come into this alley and get shot with.
Oh, I wouldn't shoot you.
I think you would.
Yeah, I probably would.
So here's where I'm coming in. I'm gonna shoot from right here. At this.
How many shots? 4. Damn.
So you're seeing some live action here.
Make the accuracy 3 up. Let's double check that. Might be worse.
I dodge.
So you get 4 shots, and this is at a light ship?
3 up, yep.
Oh yeah, this light ship is toast.
They all hit.
Alright.
Energy 7 against armor 5 or 6?
I think it's actually 6.
Your PHR, it's
Should be
6.
6.
I've shot at those before.
Try it. Yeah, armor 6.
With 1 damage point?
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't kill it. I needed 4.
Wow.
Fail.
Okay, well that was a bunch of...
Well, yeah, I can't shoot the other thing, so yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if you're within distance. I don't know what your distance is, but...
That was a whole bunch of inaction. And as it flies by, I am going to try and reaction fire. You never know if I actually get a shot at it. And if I do, it would just be nice. Only one has even the remotest chance. I think I only have 18 inches. And so we will see if I can actually get this in range and shoot. And regardless, I'm going to turn the video off and I'll roll for my 3 dice anyway. Unless someone wants to measure my 18 inches for me, I got a camera in hand. And I'm going to pick like that point.
Nope, no way.
Okay. So it gets by and survives to fight another day, and nothing was destroyed, even though that was a huge advantage to have his fast movers come in so quickly. Okay, round 1 is done, and it's a little bit crazy. I mean, 4,000 points is a lot. It's a lot more than you think it is. And since I've got the camera, I'm going to look at my stuff first here. There was some damage done to buildings. Obviously, a lot of buildings that have objectives and intelligent intel points took some damage. All the way across the board, there was a little bit of damage here and there on many buildings. There's an aggressive move being done on the center orbital defense laser. A very aggressive move being done on it. And if you look, I've got drones. This is loaded with troops. I've got Special Force Praetorians here and over here, all ready to make the jump on that. And just in case it fails, hey, I've got some flamer guys back here just to torch whoever goes in that building. Other than that, I mean, really, it's kind of crazy. I've got snipers in here to cover some AA protection out here because they have a good 18-inch strength 7 shot, 1 per base, and so that's what 6 AA shots that are really make a nice nice coverage zone. Other than that, it's just a lot of guys across the board. Since I'm fighting with you right now, Brian, for the center, you want to talk about what you did over here, because you've got,
I have gates everywhere.
This is gate central. I have to show you this gate line.
Just gates pretty much spread all the way across my whole.
I mean, if we just kind of zoom down through here like this, I mean, where aren't there gates?
They're pretty much everywhere. I mean, I've stretched from here. If the Spirit goes medium, a little bit bigger, to bigger dropships or gates here, and it stretches back out into Spirits over there again. So I can pretty much reach this half of the board if I wanted to, discounting any anti-air shots, of course. But I've got a couple totems here guarding major buildings that are inevitably going to get shot by the UCM because he doesn't like me in buildings for some reason.
Well, now, don't discount your opponent on the other side, the PHR. He did deploy a bunch of Type 2s.
Yes, he did, and it's kind of scaring me over there. I might actually avoid that, actually.
But they're all in range of buildings.
But yeah, I just got gates here ready to do whatever I need to do.
And like we talked at the beginning of the game, this monorail will now move out to this point right here. And this will become a very viable target for you to jump into, possibly me. And this is worth 2 victory points being in it. And if you extract it, it's worth 4. So it's very valuable to get in and out of. On the other side, over here, is that pretty much it, what you've kind of got going?
That's pretty much it. I got ocelots camping and getting vision on the center, but that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous amount of shots, all pointing at this poor structure. I'm not sure that one orbital defense laser can withstand 12,000 points of targeting. I mean, if somebody gets in it, all it's going to do is destroy a building. So the big question is do you really want to go in at this point level? It's kind of questionable right now. I'm kind of iffy on it. Yeah, it's kind of probably you're going to go in it regardless. I'm probably going to as well because, hey, that's just the fun of the game. But
right.
Josh, over here we have the PHR are covering this whole board. Let's see if I can get their whole force in here. Where is your big scorpion dude?
Right here. He's not deployed yet.
Where is he at over here? Oh, he's deployed right up front.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't realize he's pointing right towards that thing. He can kind of hide behind buildings here. So
using the fact that they're slow, a lot of my heavier stuff I've been trying to pull up forward. Mm-hmm. And obviously with the slow deployment zones, I mean, as far as I can't go out very far, I had to deploy like some of my anti-air here and over here to kind of protect the vectors when things would come in. Everything else is just trying to get us up there as close as possible. So there's some stuff deployed. The obvious stuff they didn't have deploy, didn't have any drop ships. So but they move 6, so they can. I brought them on. These can move like 20 up to 24 inches. Everything else is just kind of within the zone.
It's probably important to note that when it comes down to the drop ships, at this point level, we really were probably short drop ships mostly because we didn't have them.
Yeah.
We don't own them at 4,000 points for everything to come in.
Because if I had a choice, I mean, I'd probably put these more in some of the light drop ships, but I don't have any, so I had to put them in regular transports with the Neptunes. And these guys here couldn't go into transport, didn't have enough. They didn't have enough for them. Didn't have enough for them.
There is a lot of stuff on the ground here. I can just see lots of buildings going by fast, especially with your range. All right. Did we cover everything?
That's everything. That round, I mean,
You can kind of see some of his
that building
deployments.
got destroyed.
Oh, we did have a building destroyed.
Yep.
Light building.
This was a small building, so it only had 10 damage points, and it is now a 1-inch barrier blocking not much of that. Maybe it's blocking a little bit of it, or not. Not really. Not from your guns back there, your big guns.
Yeah, no, maybe. Well,
That building
I can
took a
still see it.
shitload of
Yeah.
damage, though.
What's that?
That building took a lot of damage.
It did not take that much.
Oh.
It got bounced. Do you remember how much this took? I think it took 3.
I think it was at 3.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff here. The biggest problem that we're going to have is remembering what's in what battle group. So,
Yeah.
and this is going to come down to an important die roll. So let's go ahead and roll the dice on film for seeing who goes first before all the craziness starts.
1, 4, 2.
2.
Hey, look at that. I won the dice roll. I wonder if I'm going to go first.
I
It's a
will
no.
do a central directive, or central
Oh.
HQ directive.
Also, can we discard our cards and draw new ones?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
What this does is forces all players to re-roll for initiative.
I love it.
And then I may start at initiative 5.
All right.
Or CV of 5.
Let's do it again. 2.
1 again.
1.
So I'm still going first.
Wow.
And you guys get to roll out for second.
Yeah, we do.
2.
6.
All right. So we're going almost in reverse order this time. All right, so we will get back to the craziness that will about to ensue. I can't believe I won going first with a 2.
No kidding.
And we will come back at round 2.
That gets rid of the
All right. 4,000 points, 3 players is a little crazy. This is the end of round 2. And just to recap what happened here, I did go first, which immediately sent me into this building with my Praetorians. That promptly reacted a ton of firing against it with demolishers weapons. It is now sitting at 14 damage, and I took a lot of damage. I got 3 guys left here on this base inside the big gun there, and that it's only got 20 points. Will I get to fire it? If I go first, it's quite possible that I might be able to fire it. Would it do anything before he kills me? I don't know. But he's definitely not going to let me fire it 2 rounds in a row.
True.
I don't think anybody's going to let me fire it 2 rounds in a row. But really, the only person that's a target now, a lot of buildings were destroyed this round. And the only real good building that's a good target is that one over there with an objective in it. And that would be just sweet to see 30 points of damage going away from that baby.
That'd be hilarious.
Still 1 left. It would also be really sweet to see a passive countermeasure on it.
It would also be really cool to see a passive countermeasure on it, but I would hope to see it go bye-bye still.
That would be awesome.
So it's a very slim chance of that doing anything. Other than that, I was lucky enough to find an objective here, which immediately allowed me to extract it. Over here, a piece of intel blew up on me. Not the best of luck. Lost a couple guys to it. Nothing really going on over here. A lot of intel buildings were destroyed. This whole flank is worth nothing now except for this right here. And I've started to wear down the walkers a little bit, but there's still a lot of walkers there. That doesn't mean that I won't continue to pummel them. My goodness, what else happened? More buildings were destroyed just everywhere. I did fly my drones up, and they did a lot of damage to a building there that got destroyed by other fire, even though it was protected by a Shaltari spire. Something that was interesting over here, I did torch this building and killed a couple guys. He still was able to get out of it, though. I did not kill. 2 guys survived, I think.
2 guys, two firstborn.
2 firstborn survived, and the rest of the 1 base and 1 guy died. And that's just using these new flamer guys. They worked really well.
Especially on the sirens over there.
And then over here on the sirens, let's go over here and take a quick look. Over here, only 2 of them were able to fire on the sirens in this objective building.
Toasted over.
And they torched them to nothing. I mean, I really liked my Scourge flame flamer guys, I think that these guys are better. I think they should have more shots, and they're not heavy, so they're not as expensive. Other than that, it was mostly just buildings destroyed on my end. I didn't bring my flyers in even though they were available. There was just no active targets. So I think overall, oh, something important. I did drop 2 Praetorians in here, and you dropped 2 Firstborn?
2 Firstborn, yeah.
So I'm the occupier of the monorail, which is about to move into station right now, and I'm ready to get in. All right, I'm ready to fight inside the monorail. It's going to be a gunfight inside the monorail.
Fight you off.
I'm waiting at the station. My guys are just all going, with their watches, wondering if the train's going to be late. Right. So let's talk over here. Oh, I did score 2 points because I was able to get the objective off, and I believe Brian
scored 2 with intel.
Is that 2?
Yep.
With 2 intel points.
I've got 1 with 1 intel.
So right now it's 2 UCM points, 2 Shaltari, and 1 PHR. So what you got going over here?
Tore up the cannon a little bit, shot some buildings, tried to get keep my buildings alive with my totems, but it didn't really work out too well with 8,000 points shooting at them. So they're only 20 damage point buildings each, so that didn't really work out too well.
No.
Got my little grab gun guys ready to take on a big heavy walker.
That is going to be disgusting because those do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
They do it based on the armor and the
damage points.
And the damage points of it. So that is going to be ugly. I imagine if Josh, if the PHR goes first, he's going to be trying to take those out before they fire. He's got a great squad of
2 each.
Of Type 2s over there. And of course that big walker might be able to get some shots off. And what else did you have going? Is that pretty much, did I cover it?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, just, yeah.
And Josh, what'd your PHR have going over here? That was...
Well, obviously other than losing some sirens, we did take a few pot shots. I think we did no damage to the big cannon.
Did all that.
Yeah, that was all Shaltari. We unloaded some more stuff here. We took care of a building that had some enemy occupiers because they were trying to take an intel. I did take an intel this turn from this building here. And I'll probably be leaving this building this next turn. I pummeled another building over here just because there was an intel point there, and I didn't want the UCM to have it. Other than that, then everything's all geared towards the next turn for unleashing.
Well, considering the treachery that the PHR did back in the day, I have no problem seeing why you'd be destroying my intel. So, treachery at its finest.
Betrayers.
Or yes. Maybe I was just trying to save him from the explosive intel. Right. Like his last one.
Just looking out for
looking out for my fellow humans here.
All right, a little trash talk going. But there are two intel pieces left here, and there are no other intel pieces left on the board. And this one has taken 7 points of damage. The buildings have just been pummeled, and there is an objective still here in a damaged building, and an objective over on the Shaltari side. So those are going to be very important, I think, as we go into round 3. A lot of death. I really see those buildings, possibly some big buildings maybe dropping this round because they are pretty damaged.
Yeah, that would have been damaged quite a bit.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see exactly where things go. Should we drop the dice on camera here?
Sure.
Because I think it's important.
It is.
This round. I rolled a 4.
Rolled a 6.
3.
Definitely going first.
Fortunate.
And I think I'm okay with that, and will not be playing my cards. Hint, hint, hint. Just kidding. I'm trash talking again, maybe. All right, off to round 3. Okay, we had to interrupt round 3. I went second, but as you can see here, the big gun is poised at that building.
Everyone's
Now,
picking on the Shaltari.
Now, he's got a war spire behind there protecting the building. So the chances of me destroying the building are pretty small, but it does have 10 damage points. So if I do my 1 hit, it automatically hits. If I roll a 4+, it will do 30 points of damage. Mm-hmm. And then he gets a 5-up passive save to stop the damage. So the building could just go poof instantly, which would be nice. But there's nobody within an inch, I'm sure, behind the building.
There's a Haven Terror gate, but that's about it.
And I'm thinking that if I kind of turn that a little bit like that, I can actually clip 3 buildings, just because it's more fun to actually hit more buildings. You know, I don't get to fire it very often, but it automatically hits any building through. It's just going to punch holes right through those buildings, through the corners of those buildings, and hopefully they will all collapse. Now, me pointing it at the corner probably means it won't do anything.
I hope you take this one down. 30. It's no way.
So it's an energy 13 hit. On a 2+, it does damage, and on a 4+, it will do a lot. So let's drop the dice and hope for a 4+ here.
1.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
So it will only do up to 15 points of damage, unless he has a passive save.
Nope.
So it takes 15 points of damage.
25. 20.
And just because I'm at the other buildings, let's do that one. Hey, there's 30 points of damage. And the one behind it, hey, that one's destroyed.
Yep.
There's nothing back there.
So altogether with one shot, I did 15. I did a total of 75 points of building damage with one shot. That was kind of cool. I mean, if we're going to keep score, I mean, that's just cool. But the one that counted did not take as much as it needed. It took 15 points of damage, and we'll roll for that in a minute. But I am now going to sign off because the building didn't go down, and it wasn't quite as cool as I was hoping. All right, here we are at the end of round 3. A lot of crazy stuff happened. I'm not quite sure where to begin, so I will start hopefully at the beginning. And this fired.
Which we saw, yeah.
Which we saw and took out those buildings. Nobody else shot at this the rest of the round. So this is still active. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to mean for later on, but it does mean I will be able to fire it. Elsewhere, this became a very important part of the battle. My Praetorians were in here. I also threw on some basic Legionnaires, and my Praetorians went up against his firstborns, and the luck of the dice, I lost every single one of my Praetorians, and he didn't lose a single firstborn. So my special forces were apparently taking a head count of everybody boarding the train, and were not, checking off the little list, and got stabbed in the back before they realized the guys were on the train. So that was ugly. I did throw at the end of the round some snipers in there as some cannon fodder. The objective was found, so now the Shaltari are now in control of the objective. He has one drop gate trailing it, and one over here. Other than that, we had some ground fire on this side where I was engaging the Type 1s over here, and there was a good amount of damage done. And the same thing goes for my drones who flew into the center of the building over here to engage this side of the table. Otherwise, what else did I do that round? I had kind of a boring round where over here I put all my heavy shooting into that guy, including longbows, a couple orbital bombardments, and well, I did 2 points of damage to him because he made a tremendous amount of saves, so I did not dent the Walker force of the Shaltari over here. So while I didn't do a whole lot of damage, except maybe to the building, which we saw earlier, not a lot happened to me. Casualty-wise, I did bring my bomber in just to see what I could pull out, and then we just exchanged a point of damage, and I killed a little scout walker. I was hoping to bring in my archangels as well, and that didn't work. Other than that, we lost a few things, but that was pretty much it. Who destroyed the rest of the buildings over there?
I did.
No, the one with the guys in the... I did a lot of damage to that building.
Yes.
And then I think I dropped it.
It was you the one that dropped this. I finished this one off to clear line of sight.
Yeah, you collapsed that one. He finished that one off.
So where the objective was, my katana's back here. Katanas do pretty good against buildings. It's a lot of shots. And they did about 13 points of damage, I think, or so to that building, even with the protection behind it. and we're able to drop it, taking out one of the objectives. Right now, the UCM, I have 2 points with my pulled off objective. The Shaltari have 2 intel points for 2 points. He currently has the train objective point for an additional 2, which means he's now in the lead, 4 to 2. To the UCM, who has 1 intel point for 1.
PHR.
Or PHR, sorry. The PHR down to have 1 point, but it's still anybody's game because, you know, I've got 9 bases in here. And if I can roll better than what I did last time, out of 36 dice, I needed to roll 6s, and I rolled 2, which he dodged. And the odds were not really there. But other than that, we've got a really cool battle. You know, something about the UCM tanks here that is really neat to note. There's a ruined building here where the dice are outlining it. I have all my guys, that's 1 inch of protection, kind of lined up for protection against those guys over there. So my guys are behind cover, and I'm just, you know, with the articulation of the guns, firing over and doing some damage over there. So that's been very beneficial as far as people that are looking at UCM and deciding what you want to use. That's really neat to do. We'll go over here to Brian because he is actually winning. And we'll talk about the devastation that the Shaltari and the PHR inflicted upon each other.
We've just been facing off with each other here. He's got about 7 or 8 Type 2s over there, just facing down on what little I have left over here. He had a Hades here, but my Tarantulas tore off about 5 damage points, and my Caimans here finished it off later downfield. Ocelot took out a Type 2 later, just to show him that, you know, don't come this way, go away, kind of thing. Other than that, he killed the Fire Drake, which was mean and kind of rude, actually. But the big thing is killing the Hades in 1 round, 1 turn, and getting it out of the way.
Yeah, you guys were really duking it out. The whole first half of the round was all you and the PHR pounding each other, really.
Yeah.
Leaving me alone once that building was destroyed until the your firstborn champions were basically almost at this point threw you way into the lead.
Yeah. I love firstborns.
Yeah. And not a whole lot else going on over there. And let's go ahead and look at the PHR. The PHR took a few casualties. Mostly...
Yeah,
go ahead.
because I lost some here. I lost 3 units here in the squad. I lost my Hades. Just pummeled the shit out of it. Took out one of my transports here as they were heading up to this building here.
Yeah, the drones kind of got in there and fought between the 2 buildings.
They're actually quite formidable. They're annoying, but they're formidable. They're really good at taking out things with combined shots. So I lost one of my Apollos, which I'm hoping at least salvage this other one and get it out of there. I'm also hoping to get these in here to kind of protect them.
Yeah, these are 2 Type 2s.
These ones right here are Type 3s, and what they do is as things get closer, it gets harder to hit units that are close to these.
Remind me to shoot those, because I'll forget that they're back there.
Other than that, I'm just trying to salvage from getting beaten down.
He won't remind me. And then over here, this is where the biggest part of the battle took place, because you have all your Type 2s with your commander here.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were just duking it out with his little walkers there.
Tarantulas.
The tarantulas. Several tarantulas died. 3 of them, in fact.
Half of them died. But they took out Hades with them, so...
They took the Hades with extra firepower. And his Type 2s back here. So, I mean, there's a lot of firepower still back here, and they really bloodied each other.
Yep.
Quite a bit. But remember now, this is a focal point. Okay, so it's this is a fight to the death here for this focal point in between these 2 giant forces here. Also over here is a focal point. This will be ugly as the PHR are coming into it.
Yeah.
And then over on the other side of the field, we have all the Shaltari. All the Shaltari coming in to fight on this side. No, actually, I have more firepower on this side.
Yeah.
I have my weak firepower over there. So, And that's pretty much the way the round went. We're just talking crap again. I'm pretty split evenly. So, all right, well, we will talk again. We can actually do the roll off, because for the top of 4, if I can find the dice.
2.
5.
A 2.
Oh, Shaltari going
Josh, we can
first.
roll off.
Second.
Shaltari going first.
You know, I'm going to play a card.
Oh,
Screw that.
Playing a card.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to play the card so we can re-roll that.
Great.
Wherever my deck of cards is. So we're going to...
Can't play it.
Central HQ directive.
Oh, the same thing as mine. Forces
Yep.
it, and it gives you a CV of 5, right?
Oh, he already
Yeah,
does.
it says it may, so I'm going to use my 6. And
6, yeah.
so we all roll the same again.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
5.
3.
Now we get to roll off again between
3.
5.
God damn it.
I get to go second. It's not going to change a whole lot. So that's pretty much that, and we will catch you guys at the top of 5. All right, here we are at the end of 4. Things have got a little bit nuts. The game has completely changed all the way around and back and forth. Right now, the Shaltari are still winning, probably by quite a bit at this point, I would think. They're winning 4-2 to 1 currently, but that does not take into focal points. The differences are is who's moving to what focal points, because that's really where the last points are sitting at. Obviously over here I've got a lot bearing down on this focal point. The PHR have a lot bearing down on that focal point, all their type 2s. Over here the gates allowed all of the all the big Shaltari to advance upon this focal point, and I'm just trying to hold them off here with whatever I can. In the Train of Doom, I had 39 dice. I did 2 damage, rolled 2 6s again. Obviously the dice are not going to work. I do not fight well on trains. My squads are all still alive, but they are all wounded. And he dumped in another squad of firstborn.
Yep.
So I'm fighting basically two bases, and he's fighting. Take a look here. Basically these guys right there with those damage, that much damage done to each one. So that's really going to be a big play on who wins this game. I'm really, whatever happens there, he has the advantage there. If he pulls that off, whether he extracts this or not, he will probably win that.
That'll give him 2 points.
That'll give him 2 points that are really desperately needed to pull off the focal points. And the focal points are really becoming the most important aspect of the game. There is an objective here, but the building has got 31 damage out of 40, and that base up there has 1 guy left after being roasted by these guys. Anybody who does not like flamers, I'm going to tell you something right now. Flamers are awesome. I can't tell you how many guys that my 2 squads of 3 flamers have toasted this game. I mean, it's base upon, I mean, it's what, maybe 6 or 7 bases or more.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a few. This is still out in the center firing. I did try and take a pop shot at that building over there when he had guys right next to it. Obviously they moved. But this is still a valid focal point with 5 damage points left. But there's still a lot of stuff out here. But this is still a center focal point, and it's currently still occupied, I guess. I've got 2 guys left in there. And they're holding on to that gun, firing it. It's still fun to fire, but it does not do as much at this point in the game. So anyhow, that's what we're looking at. What do you got over here? You can go ahead and talk about what you've got.
Oh, just moved all my big walkers over to get ready for the focal point. There's a bunch of points there. Just kind of winding down here.
And over here,
Yeah, I've been kind of laying off the type 2s. They're a little hard to kill, not really worth the time and effort. They just kind of sit there. So I can let them have that focal point. Not really big of an issue.
not if you take the the monorail,
Yeah.
which is still over there on its way off the board with heavy casualties going on inside.
Indeed. Other than that, pretty much just trying to survive.
You finally did lose an Ocelot over here.
I did lose an Ocelot after he used 2 super rare cards on me to actually get the range on it. Yeah.
I got pummeled this little bitch.
Yeah.
Now, in all reality, all he did was scratch it a little bit, and it was my orbital strike from my commander that actually killed it, from what I
True.
understand. It was a
No,
critical,
I wounded it
critical
quite a bit.
overload that actually hit and destroyed that thing and blew it into a lot of pieces.
Really, what it was, I actually did most of the damage, and this little tiny thing just came out of the sky and just hit what was left of it.
It was an orbital pebble. When you flush the toilets in orbit,
Right.
one little bit of the debris came down and the stuff hardens as it goes through the orbit and landed on his Ocelot.
Just tapped it.
That brings a whole new terminology to orbital bombardment. All right, well, other than that, over here, we had a lot of shooting going on. Like idiots, we were fighting each other. We should have been taking that out. Not that it's going to really matter so much, I think, in the end. It's still kind of iffy here. But there's still a lot of stuff here, all bearing down on this objective point. He's bearing down for the second one. I'm bearing down on the second one. And there's just kind of there's still a lot of action going on here. If he somehow gets this objective and gets this, Josh can still pull out a complete victory, I think, even with the monorail.
If I can pull it.
That's a lot of ifs right now, but there's still 2 full rounds. So
This thing's almost, these buildings are almost gone.
yeah, the building's almost gone, but you could actually, if you roll the dice and go first, you could grab it,
And then get out.
escape, and get off as far as you can and try and get that thing out. Do you have a drop ship to pull it out? Ah, it's way over here, just coming on, so you would not be able to get off this round, but
Call for extraction.
yeah, you might be able to get close. That would make it very interesting. That'd put me in last place and be very sad.
I'm gunning for you.
So what else you got over here?
Not much else. I mean, I just kind of squabbled with some of his stuff over here. You know, this kind of dying down over here.
What do you think of tarantulas?
They're pretty sick, but I think he's focusing more of his stuff that way.
Yeah, it's really not fair. I'm getting beat up over there.
He's been pulling out.
Yeah, that was me for the first half of the game.
But you're still alive.
It's true.
I guess technically I am too. So,
Yeah.
He's very resilient.
and this is still just a giant mess, really. So
That's where it's going.
these ruins over here, right here, that are 1 inch high, are still protecting most of my squad, as they are behind a ruined building where those dice mark the outlaying, and with the armatures. I know I mentioned that last round, but it's still really cool. He did bring some stuff around to get shots this way, and he did take something out, but I took those out that did, and there's still just a lot of AA in there. And so, anyway, is that pretty much it? We're going into round 5 now.
That's it.
So,
Round five.
get a die roll.
Let's do the die roll.
1,
4.
3.
I get to go first.
I haven't gone first. Oh, I guess I went first and first.
We don't want you to go first. You have the monorail right now.
Draw.
All right, we will talk back at the top of 6 and see where the game is at. I have a feeling the game might be decided by then, depending on how that close combat goes. If he beats my butt in there really bad, I've got really nobody else that can get in there if I lose a lot of guys. So it's looking pretty ugly. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and go to the next round. All right, we just hit the bottom of 5. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure what happened this round.
It's a little.
Buildings gone. Buildings are all gone.
Well, let's just take a look at the Shaltari side of the board. There's no buildings.
Yeah.
I got to fire this thing 3 times this game so far before it got blown up finally. And the interesting thing is he actually inserted guys in there just to make it a fight at the end. And then the PHR player took the last shots out of it and blew it to bits before it did anything else. Now, what's really probably interesting is because now that that focal point is gone, there's 3 focal points on the board. You currently, you have 2 points currently, or 4?
I have 4.
Okay, so what's going on now is he has 2 intel points, the Shaltari player. He also has the monorail objective. He's got 3 firstborn left. And I've got some legionnaires and some snipers in there, about half strength or almost half strength.
Die.
So it's looking pretty ugly as far as who's going to win that fight and hold this objective at the end. More than likely the firstborn are going to hold it because my dice have been so sour. I did finally kill some firstborn after 3 rounds of combat. I actually killed a few guys. It was kind of cool. We also have another mess over here. Obviously there's this focal point, and there's even one Shaltari, little Yari, trying to sneak in for a point. But we have a huge mess over here, and all that resulted from one survivor here finding the objective on a 6, jumping out, and the objective is now in tow underneath there, and you can see that a skimmer has it, and he's not going to get off the board with it, but he wants to hold it, and he's got a lot of firepower coming in at him to try and remove him from that. Other than that, I got a bunch of points over here. I don't know what that's going to do yet. Over here, this is kind of a crapshoot still. I did damage his leader. I mean, if I can take that out, I don't think he'll be able to hold that objective. But there was some damage done over here to my heavies. I do have more stuff in range here. I have, I'm not sure what's going to happen over there. More than likely, he's going to get that focal point. There's not much I can do about it. My hopes for a round 6 victory are looking slim, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. I could have that. I could have that, and I could get the monorail for some reason. Let's go look over here and see what.
I'm inspiring you, by the way.
What, to look at my cards?
No, it just means forces the opponent to play with a CV value of 1 next turn. This opponent does not have to discard any cards, but cannot draw any cards beyond 1.
That's okay. I've got enough cards.
I know you don't just.
Why you can do it to me?
Makes your CV 1.
I'm not winning. Okay. Anyway, someone's getting nasty over the PHR player. What do you got going over here?
I'm dumping cards. That's why.
Mostly just trying to pile onto
Objectives.
pretty much.
You're fighting for this objective over there.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't think you'll kill my commander.
That focal point. I've got artillery that says otherwise.
Yeah, well, he still pops off.
You know what? As long as I pop him away from that, so that the points aren't on the objective.
Well, I can pop him
On
onto
the
the
focal
objective.
point. It's random, isn't it?
No, I can choose a direction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Well,
And you'll get a 2-up passive save after that.
fun. We'll still go for it.
Yeah.
And then over here we have, obviously this one is definitely over for the Shaltari. And I think the PHR are going to try and push off the Shaltari off that objective so that they can't get any points for it.
That's the point.
All the fast movers are still in the game. And let's look at what's going on over here.
A huge mess.
Besides playing nasty cards at me when I'm videoing, what do you got?
It wasn't that nasty.
Yeah, it was too.
I didn't make you discard anything.
Alright, anyway, regardless. I'll see what I have to go your way. What do you got going over here? You have an objective that is hiding back here.
Yep, I got an objective that I got here that I'm looking to get at least further away. Other than that,
It's
pretty
kind of a
much it.
mess over here.
I'm just trying to hold what I can over here.
Trying to make sure you at least get a point over here. Do you think you'll be able to get over there?
That's kind of rough. Maybe. It's possible.
To get more points over than what I'm going to have?
Do I have more? No. But I might be able to get some over there.
You can at least get one over there. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get to round 6 and the final round of the game because it is ugly. And if I can find dice to roll. And we will see.
Your CV
Is that done at the beginning?
No, that was at the end of the round.
Oh, at the end of last
So
round?
your whole turn is your CV1. And you can't draw past 1. So if you discard, you don't be able to get past 1.
Okay.
6.
I rolled a 6.
1.
Well, I have a higher CV than you.
I have mine 7. His is 7 technically, because if you.
I go first. I go before you anyway. I rolled a 6. Of course, he still wins because he has a higher CV.
Mm.
See that? You get messed over. That's what happens when you mess with me. No, I'm kidding.
Drop these.
That really stinks. Hold. You know, I should. It's too late. I should have espionaged that, but it didn't matter. All right. That's the end of it, and we'll kind of check back and come up with some results of this really long battle. This takes a while, by the way. So.
They come in last though. I don't get that.
All right, so here's what we got for the game here. We have just wrapped up round 6, and it was ugly. Okay, so we have the final score. Let's get this done with. The final score was Shaltari 8, the PHR 7, and the UCM 6. Now, at one point I remember I was actually winning this, but what we have here is we have focal point here. Shaltari jumped on it like crazy. I did get 1 for being close, but I could not get the extra points for it. Here, I have this focal point with the UCM, and the PHR jumped in here for 1. And over on the other side, little gate man, the gate Shaltari over there, jumped in for an extra point, while the PHR held that one. So the focal points were an exact tie all the way around the board.
Yep.
I got 2 points of objectives from the objectives that were in buildings. The PHR got 2 points off that. This went down to a very interesting fight inside. He used his Shaltari ability to just get rid of my attack so that his guys survive. So it limited my attack so much that I couldn't kill enough guys to make it matter. And we're still all in there. But that still gave him 2 points for the monorail objective. Obviously, round 6, the orbital defense laser objective was destroyed. Just too many points on the board for it to survive, but it did get to shoot 3 rounds. And then there were some intel points. I didn't get any because mine blew up. And then you had 2.
I had 2.
And then the PHR had 1. So that's it. It was a very close game. It came down to the last round. It was brutal. There's just too many points on the field. There's still a lot on the field. I mean, take a look at what's left on the field over here. It's a lot on the field. A lot of models all over the board. And I think it just came down to everybody's forces were split and we really couldn't deal with each other to the extent that we needed to.
Pretty much.
And then it just came down to the monorail plus
Clutch objective grab there.
plus a very clutch objective grab on a 6 on that building, and being able to amazingly get it off the board, which was incredible because
Basically played leapfrog with the objective.
yeah, I was able to hand that off and get it off the board. So that's pretty much where we're at, and I think we're calling it a game, and it's time to pick up because I'm tired and
10-hour game.
it was way too long. But we did get a great battle report in, and next time that we do this, it will be many months from now, but I'm hoping to have at least 4 forces on the board of 4,000 points. We'd still be playing. So anyhow, that's it, and I'll talk to you later. you.